Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers.
I'm Will Leggetter.
And it sounded like I inhaled a lot of breath there. I went very high. I was going to say, I should be high. It's the Christmas special Bonanza. That's not really a thing. We are opening Christmas special part 3. How exciting. We have with return guest, not just return guest, normal guest, but also return guest for the Christmas special, because we've just talked about Blackadder, and how good was it? How good was it?
Fantastic, yeah.
And now we're rounding out our final of these 3-part Christmas special bonanzas with Nathan Sloane to talk about, well, perhaps perhaps the oddest choice amongst the lot.
I don't think it is.
Not odd. I think it's the biggest stretch, maybe. Will, why don't you tell us what before seeing it, let me say, I thought, oh my God, that's not a Christmas special. After watching it, I can clarify that it is in many ways a Christmas special. Will, why don't you tell us what we're kicking off?
Yes, it is, of course. I don't know where it is for me ranked, but it's in my top 3, probably top tier Christmas specials. It is, of course, the Middle East special, where the 3 wise men go and deliver gifts to the baby Jesus.
I think it's fair to say you two are big Top Gear guys.
Yeah.
This was my Top Gear virginity.
Was it?
It was.
Whoa!
A great episode to lose it on, actually.
I have
You
watched.
think?
I think the specials.
Yeah, but I think there are so many better specials.
Oh, yeah. I mean, should we agree now that Vietnam is the best special?
Yeah, and then I'd put Bolivia and India. Yeah.
I realised very soon, because Will had told me about the Top Gear Butch Cassidy special, and I realised very soon that this wasn't it, and I was quite disappointed, and I don't know why. I kept expecting. I was like, where's Butch Cassidy? Now, the Top Gear Middle East special, when did this air? Christmas?
Ooh.
I've got it here. I don't know. I thought you may know it. I thought you may have fond childhood memories. It aired on Christmas, on Boxing Day, 2010. Boxing Day, 2010. Yeah, no, this, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. It was great, and it flew by. I don't think I'd enjoy the other specials. I don't think I'd enjoy the general show.
I think you'd need to watch a few more episodes, because obviously they do have a few sort of car reviews, and it is just, but the style that they do it in, he's like, there's one episode where Jeremy Clarkson's talking about this really small boots, and you think, oh, here we go, and then he pulls like a B-list celebrity. You can actually fit this person in a boot. You can't do that. And it's like what Jules Holland just walks out, something like that. It's very unconventional.
Yeah, the episodes were good. I think the specials are the best thing.
Yeah.
The Grand Tour have clearly clocked onto that, and that they just make specials now. So
watching it tonight.
Yes, there's a new one.
Hunt. Yeah, fish and chips and a massive hunt. Can't wait.
Jesus Christ. That sounds like the world's worst Edinburgh Fringe play. I've seen many a time clip montages of Jeremy Clarkson's most offensive moments. I've watched that a lot.
I've got a lot of his books. I should admit to that. I love his books.
You can admit to it, Will. You can admit to it.
I love it.
Apart from being generally old manish and in his humour, I don't think anything's been too terrible, apart from catch the N-word by the toe, which I genuinely cannot believe. That's genuinely an insane thing to do on a filmed television series. Never mind just normally, or the other way, that should have been phrased the other way around. But that was an insane thing. And truly abhorrently racist. But he's great. I'll give it, great, there's no way around it.
He's great on Millionaire as well. Do you watch him present Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
I've watched multiple times the bit where somebody coughs and he goes, "You should have coughed after the answer." Great reference to Major Charles Ingram. And what was Charles Ingram's wife called?
Oh, I've forgotten.
Your clue is, it's another famous couple as well.
Diana.
She was called Diana Ingram, yes. They went to town on that name.
Oh, they're called Diana and Charles. I just clocked on.
They are, and it was the 90s as well, yes.
And they're still together.
They are still together at Charles, and not
no.
Diana Spencer. Rest in peace. And rest in peace, Dodie. Everybody forgets about Dodie. Dodie F.I.Ed. But enough about Dodie F.I.Ed. Will... That should be our, and on that
on a T-shirt.
Yeah, we should release a T-shirt saying enough about Dodie F.I.Ed. This is in the middle of the Iraq War.
Yeah, I think it's just they got there just in time because it's just before the Syrian civil war as well. That happened, a couple of years after.
And thank God they made this special before. The fact that we could have never got this is quite upsetting. So you've talked. So is this everybody's favourite? It's not everybody's favourite special. Everybody prefers Bolivia,
Vietnam's the best.
Vietnam's the best.
Yeah, definitely. So I'd put Bolivia second, and then India, with an honourable mention for Botswana. Not the country, just the special.
Let's rank countries. Nathan, what's your relationship with Top Gear as a whole?
As a whole,
specifically the Matt LeBlanc years.
I did not watch. I don't think a single episode, start to finish, when it was the Matt LeBlanc years. I don't think.
Did you, Will? Before we move on, did you?
I watched one because I was flicking over and I thought, oh, let's see what they've done to it, and it was still with Chris Evans. And I thought,
Jesus. Chris Evans is enough to put anyone off.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, last Christmas I did watch the Nepal special with like Flintoff and McGuinness and stuff, and that was quite good. It's not the same, but it was enjoyable.
They've done what it needs to be, and it's three sort of childish old men. Well, not old men, but having just a laugh as mates, and that's what it needs. It needs that chemistry from the beginning.
Yeah, and it really worked. I thought the Nepal special last year.
Well, I remember the news, like Matt LeBlanc just leaking quotes all the time saying, "Chris Evans is the problem. Nobody likes Chris Evans." Because they got rid of him, and he's still around, isn't he, Matt LeBlanc? He's rebranded.
Not anymore.
Have they got rid of him as well?
It's Paddy McGuinness, Freddie Flintoff, and the other guy.
Someone else, yeah.
And someone else. Let's get into it. Well, it's 9 stars on IMDb from 592 reviews.
Very good.
Ratings, rather. Nobody's left a review. Maybe you should be the first, Will.
Maybe.
We start with their journey takes them across the Middle East via southern Turkey, the cities of Aleppo, Palmyra, and Damascus in Syria, then Jerash in Jordan, and finally the Mount of Olives. The journey includes visiting an abandoned theme park and a stop at Ein Giv on the Sea of Galilee. Here's my first question. When Clarkson jumps into the water, does he have a spare change of clothes, or does he then get in the car fully? Because he's wearing jeans.
Oh, yeah, he will have just got into the car. The thing about these specials is they just get budget cars, and they just wreck them to on the what's the one where they're in trucks? But they go trucking for one.
The America special, isn't it? It's somewhere in America, isn't it?
I think it might be in an Asian country. Oh, it's when they build the river, the bridge over the River Cock.
Yeah.
And they just wear the same T-shirt and shirt for the whole thing, and you could just imagine the smell. That's one of the best things about it.
Almost as bad as Michael Douglas's V-neck sweater in Basic Instinct, which he incredibly wears to a very early 90s rave club. They're all doing coke and dancing all night long. Then he has incredible sex in it, and then he wears it the day after for a nice drive, and he comes to see Sharon Stone, and incredibly, the first thing she says is, "Jesus Christ, you smell like shit." The car's purchased with a budget of $3,500. Clarkson is driving a Mazda MX-5, Hammond a Fiat Barchetta Riviera, and May a BMW Z3. Without a Syrian journey, of those three cars, gentlemen, which would you most like to partake in?
Oh, the MX-5.
It's got to be the MX-5. Yeah, it's a classic little car. Yeah.
Are you car people? Are you fully car people?
I don't know all the big names, and I think if you're a car person, you probably go to what racers, and so you're a proper petrol head. I see a nice car. I know a few names. I watch Top Gear because you have me down as this proper petrol head, Tom.
I don't. I have you down as somebody who really. I think you could bullshit a good long conversation about cars. If like, obviously you're with Becky, but if you had a different girlfriend, I don't know, maybe Becky's parents do like cars, but if you got in with a father-in-law who was fully into cars, I think you could have multiple long conversations with him and bullshit.
I'll try that. I'll try that next time.
And if he's got like multiple cars in a garage, you could go, "Oh, that's a beautiful machine," and then like knock on it,
kicking.
Yeah, like knock on it or something.
Oh, it's an extender.
Yeah. Oh, like looking under the bonnet and, "Oh, that's a nice set. Oh, that's great." You wouldn't actually say anything. You just go, "Oh, that's a great. Oh, look at that. Oh, look, that's a beautiful. Oh, yeah, that's great." Like you would never finish any sentences. I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, I'd throw a couple of like the word crankshaft. That sounds quite technical.
Which is the name of our Autobahn tribute band the three of us have. Not Autobahn, that was the name of the song. Vrookshaft, what are they called? Right. Nathan, talk about your favourite moments from this special, and I'll find out who sang Autobahn.
I think
Sorry.
Oh, there you go.
Pray silence. What does Partridge say? And now, pray silence for Kraftwerk. No, pray silence for the Electric Light Orchestra. And now, Kraftwerk. Something. As you were, Nathan.
Yeah, no, I think the bit in the theme park's got to be mentioned. Just the fact that they sit on all the rides, just like completely plain faced, and it's like an abandoned wreck, and yeah, they get across the desert's a very good stretch.
Yeah,
quite funny.
The Montezuma's Revenge hitting Hammond, which, you know, of all the things to hit Richard Hammond, he was quite. It must be quite happy. Oh, poor Richard Hammond.
Yeah. Was it that Frankie Boyle joke?
It's something about
there's a lot of
forgetting his wife's name.
Forgetting his wedding day. Poor Richard.
Poor Richard. There is something wonderful about the dynamic of the three of them. I very much enjoyed when they got to Syria and the guy said, "Captain Sloane is in Syria." That was very funny. You know, the things that didn't work for me was the clearly like scripted bits and fabricated bits and all that stuff just doesn't work for me. Whereas the hashish pipe talking about the nativity was so natural, and the rest of it was just so natural and realistic, and obviously
that's you could argue that about probably the first season of the Grand Tour. They knew what they had, and they just tried to script it and add as much comedy as they could. But where they're best at is that sort of improvised, natural chemistry that they've got, where they just go off on one. That's why I like. I'd recommend it for anyone who wants to watch it. James May's new cooking show, Oh Cook, where he just stands there and he rambles on while cooking mediocre stuff. But I could listen to him for days. He's a clever guy.
Our Man in Japan's fantastic as well.
That's great. It's a dry. It's brilliant. Yeah.
So the Grand Tour, Amazon Prime's Top Gear ripoff, I very much enjoy. I can't remember what advertisement it was, but they had the G and the T very big, and it was very clearly, you know. I just don't think that, you know, they're hiding it at all, that these are just Top Gear specials now on Amazon Prime. What was the final straw for it all, for them getting kicked off? Was it him punching the guy for the hot meal?
Yeah.
Yeah, he punched the producer, didn't he, or something?
Yeah.
Was it one of the producers? I feel like
it was one of the producers. Yeah.
And that, I mean, it's pretty incredible. Punching a man, punching a producer. Hiatus in Clarkson's suspension, 2015. The Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo incident. Then he received a final warning. An alleged then an alleged reference to the Falklands War of 1982. What's this? We've got some freezing. It says here they're on about an alleged reference to the Falklands War with a license plate reading H982FKL. And they drove through Argentina. Oh, Will's gone. Nathan, can you inform me about this Argentina incident?
I can't actually. I don't know what happened there.
For the Argentina special, it seems that they were the whole time they were dogged with incidents because one of the license plates read HN82FKL, a reference to the Falklands War of 1982.
It definitely sounds like something they probably would have done. Sort of the usual level of inappropriatism.
Yeah. Hello again, Will. The broadcaster's actions were the result of them suspending over verbal and physical abuse he had committed against one of the show's producers, Osin Timon. And then it all led to subsequently signed a deal with Amazon to produce a new motoring program in the same vein, the Grand Tour. Since then, we have had multiple different hosts. Chris Evans, Formula 1 driver David Coulthard, then Matt LeBlanc, Eddie Jordan, Chris Harris, Rory Reid, and currently Andrew Flintoff and Paddy McGuinness. And the 29th series has been halted due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It's a crying shame. Will, have I asked you outwardly what your favourite parts of this episode are?
You haven't, but I shall let you know now. For me, because it's definitely not. It always happens on a Top Gear special that James May becomes hospitalised.
Does it?
And that's what. Oh yeah, in the Argentina special, he falls off a donkey. and he just breaks his ribs, and it just takes him 5 minutes to get in and out of the car.
Was that an actual concussion? When he was I mean, it was a real concussion, obviously. But when they're talking to him and it's you're in the middle of the Syrian desert, is that real?
That's genuine. Yeah, that's
also,
the best.
Let's break down. This is the weakest of all the accidents, presumably. It's just tripping over a rock and falling backwards.
No, that's great. And then when they turn up at the hospital.
And what are they wearing, Will, when they turn up at the hospital?
What are they wearing?
They're wearing full burkas.
Because they're in disguises. Obviously, you've got the classic Pimp My Ride. They do that on a special. Because they'll get these budget cars, and halfway through they'll realise these are not built for this terrain, and they'll pimp them out, and it's very good. I've also got to give a shout out to Richard Hammond's lighter. When they tried to cross the border, you're a very funny man.
Yeah,
I would be terrified.
And it doesn't. Oh, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Yeah. Wow. So hell of some balls. You got big balls. What's that? What am I quoting?
Is that Hairspray? Is that a Christopher Walken's?
You got big balls. He's talking to his wife. Big balls, Edmund. You know, Tracy, if you want to then, my two go-to Hairspray impressions are John Travolta going, "You're not going on that shoe, Tracy Turnblad, you're not going on that shoe." And then Christopher Walken going, "Tracy, if you want to dance, dance." And Ava, previous guest and close friend, always rips into me because she says, they're good impressions, but they never say those lines in the film. They never once say those lines. So which one's Butch Cassidy? Patagonia in Bolivia?
Yeah.
I was very disappointed when there was no Butch Cassidy.
Well, you'll have to watch it. Hopefully, this is your introduction into at least Top Gear specials.
I might watch another special.
I think you should watch Vietnam next.
It's a good way to pass the little hour or so. Yeah, Vietnam's really good.
But am I not shooting my load going with Vietnam if you say that's the best?
There's not a bad one.
You can always go back to it.
Yeah.
The thing is if you watch the Vietnam one, it will sort of draw you into watching the rest, I think.
It's the problem with Inside Number 9. You show everybody sardines. That's the best episode. It's not that the rest aren't great, but you're never going to get higher than the highs of sardines. I dare say we've milked this cow dry. Is there any final comments on Top Gear, the Middle East special? Or the world of Top Gear, shall I say? Because I don't think we'll be. Maybe our rankings. Nathan?
No, I don't think anything else to add, really. I think it was just I missed the days when they used to do the football on the episodes with cars. That was quite funny. They don't do that anymore, and it was underrated.
Well, anything else? You major petrol head.
Well, on this episode, honourable mentions go to them trying to bulletproof the door. It just goes all the way through.
And the bit where they creep round the corner, so you go round the corner.
Yeah, it's very good. Of course, we've got to mention the ending. Where
do we?
The aim is they are the three wise men, and they are to buy gold, frankincense, and myrrh for the baby Jesus. They end up getting a shampoo, gold, frankincense, a gold image of himself, and a Nintendo DS.
Indeed. We should mention it after all. This is the only reason that we are talking about this. Indeed. Well, that rounds out. No, that's a complete lie. We're now going to move to Katrina Unitt. Wool's going to disappear, and we're going to talk about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Some may say a better show than Top Gear. Some may say
wrong. I think everyone will agree.
The entire world will agree. Oh, Merry Christmas, Nathan. We won't be on the show. We won't be seeing you again. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glowed.
Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers.
All of the other...
And I'm not Will Leggetter.
Oh, yeah, sorry. That was usually I introduce our guest, don't I? I just went into. I did a.
I thought it'd just be funny if I'd have said that I'm not Will Leggetter.
I did a Zoom interview the other day for a class project, and I opened it up and I pressed recording, and I just instinctively went, "Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers."
That's funny.
It was quite in the moment, yes. We have Katrina here. They have just seen Will if they're missing Dear Willie.
I miss Dear Willie too.
Just setting you up here, out the park. We've just talked about Doctor Who. We just talked about The Voyage of the Damned, the best Doctor Who Christmas special.
Is that the Kylie?
Titanic, the Kylie Minogue.
I love her.
No. Who's better? Kylie Minogue or Nicole Kidman?
Nicole.
That's the correct answer. That for some reason that's just a good bar conversation. If you're with the right crowd, it can go for hours. You're with but I usually am not, and it's like, oh, I guess I like a few of Kylie Minogue's songs. I think I've seen Moulin Rouge, and it doesn't go anywhere. But if you get the right crowd, it's good. But now we are with previous guest and loved guest and friend Katrina Unitt to talk about one of our favourite shows, and not one of Will's. He's not got round to it yet because he just has no taste. He would rather rewatch Peep Show instead of watching this, which is almost objectively better show in every regard.
Tea.
Would you agree?
I like both.
Yeah.
But I prefer It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
I remember when I was 17 and I binge watched it all, and my entire personality for 6 months straight was just It's Always Sunny. So.
I mean, it's a good personality to have.
Is it?
Not in the sense
Okay, Dennis.
Okay, all right. I was wondering when this was going to come up. That Katrina, for the longest of periods of my life, has always seen me as a Dennis, and in many ways, I get it.
Who would I be?
I think, and you're going to have a real conflict in your head about this, because you're like, does that mean I want to fuck myself? But I think you're a bit of a Charlie. And that's obviously, I'm referencing Katrina's deep, deep attraction for Charlie Day.
I love that man.
He is your
my type.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would say he's one of my top celebrity crushes. Him, Adam Brody, if you know him from the OC.
No. I know Adrian Brody from The Pianist. Is he one of your crushes?
Honestly, he's, I think he's actually a very good looking guy. I'm definitely
very handsome guy, yeah.
And Andy Samberg. I'm really into brunette, brown haired men with something weird about them.
I thought you were going to say Jake Johnson.
Oh yeah, he's another one. Jake Johnson is definitely up there. They're in my top 5.
Wacky sitcom leads.
Who needs serious psychiatric help.
Yes. No, we're huge fans of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I spent 3 months, 3.5 months in Philadelphia, and I was very annoyed because. Go on.
You spent 3.5 months in a bath because Tom always used to just bathe in the middle of the day, and he used to call us in the middle of the day, and we'd be like, "Why is your camera not on?" And then you'd hear the water sloshing around. He'd be in the bath. Because
of the time difference, I would call my dear friends, but it would be 6 hours, so I'd be having my bath time. And
sometimes you called and it was the middle of the day for you.
I had nothing else to do. I was a single guy, miserable, coming off a breakup, and so yeah, I had a few baths then and again.
I was disappointed to find out that It's Always Sunny. It's not actually filmed in Philadelphia, is it?
Some bits are. Well, that was my whole thing. I was going to plan the whole trip. I was going to marathon and rewatch it all, and then go to all the places. But it's not on American Netflix.
Oh, you should have got a VPN.
Such a blow to me. Terrible blow, terrible loss. And but no, like the Liberty Bell, like you can't. I mean, you can recreate that. They made Mordor, but it would be infinitely easier. I think that, like, obviously you've got your sets, but they do a very good job. I speak as if I'm the only man who's ever been to Philadelphia, but they do a very good job of recreating Philadelphia. Duty calls. And they do a very good job of recreating the just that Philadelphia essence.
Yeah, I love that. I love that the title, the opening sequence, is literally just the night before they needed to like edit the first episode. They just went around with a video camera, just filmed Philadelphia. And
I love that. I don't know whether it's royalty-free music or just very, very, very cheap music. The album and they're all by the same guy, so I don't know whether they just bought the rights to that one album, because it's just like the most bizarre, pleasant sounding ding 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 ding, like harp music.
Yeah, the opening, the Always Sunny song is like really popular on TikTok at the moment.
Is it?
There's like a bunch.
What's the TikTok?
Just I don't really know, like it's just people just use it like it's used in like various things, and it's always like, and it's funny when like a 14-year-old comes up and they've got no idea, like not sound pretentious, but they don't have any idea where it comes from, and I'm like, some people who use it, I'm like, if you knew where this came from, like you would cancel it, you would try and cancel. Like they tried to cancel Always Sunny recently, I saw on Twitter, because of the blackface.
Well, they try, yeah, and it's been taken off Netflix. And I just don't, a lot of, this is the problem. All of it was a big thing, and I don't feel like we need to have a minute conversation describing how blackface is bad.
It is bad. It is
horrific.
Bad.
But all of these episodes that they were doing, that they were getting rid of, the 30 Rock one, the It's Always Sunny ones, were deconstructions of how bad it is and how popular it is in so many odd fields.
I think what a lot of people failed to, and this comes from either side of the political spectrum, what a lot of people fail to realise about Always Sunny is that it is a satire. It is making fun of the people who actually think the way that the characters are. The characters are bad people. They are bad people. They're terrible, horrible people. Anyone who comes into contact with the gang goes from being a normal person to a mess, because they're supposed to be bad people. You're watching bad people, bad things happening to bad people. Like you're supposed to laugh at them, not with them.
And it's like an extended sitcom version of like the Joker and like Tyler Durden and Patrick Bateman from American Psycho, of like the meme of, oh, you just don't understand, you don't understand them, or whatever the meme is, of like these terrible people, and of course they're hilarious, and of course they're charismatic, and so you want to watch them forever and ever and ever. This was one of my biggest things with the Peep Show thing. was that I was saying to Will, I was like, I just can't stand them. And then he was like, well, they're not supposed to be good people. And I said, no, there's a difference. It's Always Sunny. They aren't good people. But I can still enjoy watching them. That's
why, I mean, this Christmas episode, which I think it is the only Christmas episode they do in the entire series, isn't it? Yeah.
So far.
It just shows how, like, I mean, it is a very interesting episode, actually, in terms of the characters themselves and why they are the way they are. I love It's Always Sunny because you can watch it on a surface level, but you can also be like, let's dive deeper and psychoanalyze these.
It's a bit of an origin episode for all of our leads.
It is. Like, and like, it makes sense to like why Dee and Dennis, like why Dennis is a friggin' sociopath. Like, of course he is. He had Frank as a dad. One of my favorite lines in this is where Dee is like, God, he's not even our dad anymore, and he's still ruining Christmas.
It's so good. Yes, no.
And also, it's quite heartwarming.
It's lovely.
Especially as a Charlie fan. I think Charlie's done dirty so often in this show. Arguably the most morally correct, as is in like his morals are probably the best out of all of
his worst hang up. His worst hang up is his stalking.
Which isn't great.
No, I'm not saying it's great.
No, but that is the worst he does. Dennis, possibly a murderer.
Possibly a murderer. Definitely a pederast.
Dee is just a horrible woman. And I love that. That's one of my favourite things about this show is Dee's a bad person.
Did you know the original concept of the character of Dee?
All I know is that obviously in the beginning she was supposed to be a way better character than everyone.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
She's supposed to be the straight man, and then the actress was like Caitlin Olsen. She was like, "This is boring."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Okay, let's make you a terrible person too."
And it would be so annoying. Guys, what are you doing?
Because like women play that role in sitcoms so often. We don't need more morally upstanding women who, obviously, like, I wish there was more female characters in the show, but I would want them to fit in. I wouldn't want them to like put a character in and be like, see, she's better than everyone, because women aren't better than everyone. We're all the same. We're all horrible.
And the waitress, who we do think is not better than everybody and is just this poor woman who's being stalked, is also a terrible drunkard.
Yeah, she's also not a nice person. She's actually, not nice.
Nobody's nice. It's wonderful.
Nobody's nice. It's great. I love it. It's so fun to watch like these horror, like some of the events that happen in the show, obviously while really far-fetched, like it's just they're constantly getting their comeuppance all the time. It's so fun.
How do they still run the bar? How is that open?
Because Frank's a millionaire.
That's one of the great conceits.
Wolf Cola. But that's one of the things about sitcoms. It doesn't need to make sense.
No, sure it doesn't.
Like, how does Monica afford that apartment in New York?
Well, she's sharing it with Rachel.
And it's rent controlled by a grandma. A better example would be how do Chandler and Joey afford the apartment across the hall?
Yeah. I don't know.
It doesn't make sense, but it doesn't have to make sense.
It doesn't. It's so good. This comes at the end of season 6, so we're at a real peak.
Yeah,
I mean, it just keeps peaking over and over. I say peak as if it's downhill, but it's not. It's just so keeps such a high level.
I think I did a bit of reading. I don't think this was originally aired on TV.
No, apparently not.
It was just
Computer,
it was a DVD
maybe?
special.
Oh,
and that's why they can say the F word.
Yes, it was first released on DVD and Blu-ray in November 2009. And that's why they cancel the F word. I just, that's one of my big things. I don't like when they bleep. And then when it's on like Netflix and stuff, you don't need to bleep it anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know why it's still bleeped, and then it becomes weird when they do stuff. But this has one of the greatest uses of profanity in TV sitcom history. One of the show's greatest moments. One of my all-time favorite comedy moments. So good that you post on your Instagram, and there's only one thing that you could ever post.
Well, did he? Can we swear on this?
Yeah, I said cunt once.
Did you fuck Santa? Did you fuck my mom? Did you fuck my mom, Santa? Did you fuck my mom?
Did you fuck my mom?
Did you fuck my mom?
Did you fuck my mom? And it's when he starts
every Christmas, I just think of Charlie Kelly. That's the character's name. I said that once, and everyone was like, "His name's Charlie Day," and I was like, "The character's name is Charlie Kelly." Anyway, him just blood. That's why I posted an Instagram post of just Charlie covered in the blood from when he's ripped
so much blood.
Santa's neck. There's so much blood.
So graphic.
Did Charlie murder that man? Because with how much blood there is, he had to have ripped an artery. I swear.
Well, let's get into the nitty-gritty of the episode. So it opens up with what we find to be Frank's tradition of faking presents and buying the gifts that Dee and Dennis want most, and then buying it for himself. And he has a wonderful Lamborghini.
Yeah, the car. And one of my favorite lines, I don't know why, but I always think about it, is Dennis goes, "That car's pure effect." Like, he says it, like the way he says it, it makes me laugh every time.
Charlie Day's done a bit like outside of the world of It's Always Sunny, and obviously DeVito has, but there's something about these characters and the longevity that we've seen them with, that when I see them in different roles, it's so, and it's not that they're excellent actors, but seeing Glenn Howerton in it and stuff, it's weird. It's like, that's Dennis.
I think Glenn Howerton, I wish he had more commercial success.
Yeah.
Because he is the best actor in the show. This man went to Juilliard.
Oh, in that regard, I thought I was going to say maybe Danny DeVito. I'd probably.
Oh well, yeah, of course. As I meant from like the
training. Yeah.
It's weird to say younger cast because like obviously they're all in their 40s. But I think Glenn Howerton, I genuinely think that like some of his monologues in the show are just like excellent. But also like you really hate Dennis. Like Dennis is like, I really don't like as in like I think he's a great character and I love watching him, but like he's a bad person, as we said. But yeah, I think Glenn Howerton is excellent. But
before we go
I think that I was going to say I think that Charlie kind of steals the scene in like most Always Sunny scenes.
I'm a big Frank guy, I have to say.
Of course, you're a Glenn fanboy.
No, a big Frank boy.
Oh, Frank. I thought you said Glenn.
No,
yeah, Frank is hilarious.
There's not I don't think there's a single line delivery that that DeVito doesn't make better. One of the best lines in this, very simple. Eugene pulls out the gun. A gun? I love guns.
I love guns. I've got one.
Just great.
It's so weird going back and watching the first season now.
Yes, for those of you who don't know,
oh, yeah.
he came in on the second season because the first one just nobody saw it, and they needed a star, and they found out through circumstances that DeVito liked the show and said, "Do you want to be in it and save it?" And history is made.
Yeah, I think he was a great addition to the cast, and as well, when I first watched it, I knew he was in it. I didn't know like what his character was like, and obviously my only experience of Danny DeVito really at that time was Matilda, Junior, and Twins. And then similarly you've got suddenly you have Frank Reynolds on your screen.
Before we go deeper into A Very Sunny Christmas, on a blanket view, top episodes.
I'm gonna say a popular choice.
That's fine.
Because I think it's just my favourite. Charlie Work is such a good episode. I just think I love that episode. And the episode where, I don't know what it's called. It's the one where they all keep getting sick. And it turns out it's just they're having alcohol withdrawal symptoms. And there's like, to me, it's not like necessarily top episodes. It's just like top moments. So like one of my favourite moments in that episode is where Dennis goes, if I was sick, could I do this? And he goes, oh, because that's exactly how I felt when I had COVID. And then another moment I like is where Dennis like goes into that weird thing where he sees himself cutting hair and he's an Englishman. And then it's the one where Charlie goes power crazy over that game. And then he goes, stop, Charlie! This game has gone on long enough.
I'm going to go even more basic. Iceman cometh. Not the Iceman cometh, Jesus Christ. The Nightman cometh. The Iceman cometh is what they're referencing. Just a classic. I'm a big fan of the double headers. I like The Gang Goes to Hell. I love all the cruise business.
Yeah.
And I love The Gang Goes to Prom.
Yes, got a great episode.
Love both of those. Or all four of those, shall we say. And just a little bit of Jason Sudeikis at the end. And you can never not have enough Jason.
I like the episode where for some reason I think it's like called like Dee Gets Audited or something like that, and it's where the whole thing where she's like getting money because of the baby she had that like isn't hers anymore.
Yeah.
The dead dog in the coffin, Charlie's mum saying money me now. Another great episode is it's one of those heartwarming episodes of the show, weirdly, is the one where they try and Charlie is like killing the rats and he's clearly having a bad time, and so the gang are like, right, let's make his dream journal real. The denim chicken. You know what's a one from the last season that I really enjoy? The rom-com one, the meat cube. Yeah.
And then great use of Bruce Springsteen song. But let's dive into A Very Sunny Christmas. With the Dee and Dennis storyline, they plan to do a whole Christmas Carol shenanigans. That backfires rather quickly when Frank starts wielding a goddamn golf club at Eugene. You're a ghost! You're a ghost! Into the famous sofa
scene.
It's still hilarious. Doesn't matter how many times you see it.
I never thought I'd get to see Danny DeVito's bare ass.
And
I've
if
seen
you
it
look very
multiple
closely,
times.
Just a little bit of ball.
Just a bit of ball sack. I did notice that on this rewatch, actually.
Yeah, it's the HD. It's the biggest TV you can, everybody.
I think though. I think I do prefer the Mac and Charlie storyline from this episode.
Yeah.
Just because, you've got them trying. Originally, they've got the Christmas spirit, and then I suppose in a way, Dee and Dennis are Scrooge in that respect. They hate Christmas.
Yeah.
They love it. They go to Mac's house, find all the gifts he got, then watch the video where they find out that, it turns out Mac's parents just broke into homes and stole Christmas gifts because they couldn't afford to get him gifts.
Which is great. And the reason that there's none when he gets home is because that's what the neighbours were doing to his house.
Yeah. And then they go to Charlie's house instead, and it turns out
got the Christmas vodka, the classic Christmas vodka.
And to be fair, I remember watching it for the first time and being like, Charlie's house is really nice, like it's all set up for Christmas. Turns out his mum's a prostitute. Which is a great bit with the bell, started.
It's a real.
And then they try and rectify their past mistakes, and then they go see Santa, attack Santa. But I do love the bit at the end where it's so heartwarming, them two just throwing rocks, and then there's baby Mac and Charlie throwing rocks at the train. I don't know, I guess I'm a sucker for like a happy ending, which you don't really get in It's Always Sunny, but
it's just it's not. And also, DeVito does some great, sweet, warm stuff when he gives the presents out. He does.
Yeah.
He's very nice, and he's like, oh, this feels great.
Blooming Eugene.
Eugene, are you a Big Lebowski fan?
No.
Ah, well, this guy's in the Big Lebowski. He is the Big Lebowski, actually.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he's very good in that. He's very good in this. Yeah, I think I'd probably go more for the Mac and Charlie stuff than the Dee and Dennis stuff.
Just because I find Charlie the funniest.
Yeah.
I find it's weird because I do think that Charlie's the funniest, and then Frank. Just because Frank's like that humor sometimes I'm a bit like it's a bit too much.
Right.
Personally. And then I like Dee. I don't know, actually I find them all funny. I just find Charlie the funniest.
Yeah. And then we have a lovely cartoon in the fashion of the American.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that bit. It's just a bit where the elf just spits in his face. It just makes me laugh so much.
It
like
does
she's out of
feel
nowhere.
like an addition. It does feel like it not comes out of nowhere, but it does feel like, oh, I thought this was done.
Reminds me of the Community Christmas special where they have.
Yeah. Well, they're all doing we don't get any of this, do we? The American, these American puppet specials, the Rudolph.
Yeah, because it reminds me of Elf.
Which is another parody of these things. Here's a weird one.
Never seen.
You've still never seen Elf? Oh
no, I said I've never seen. Of course, I've seen Elf, idiot.
That's right. Did you know who directed this episode?
Who?
Fred Savage.
No way.
The little boy from the Princess Bride.
No way. Fred Savage.
I'm just checking.
And his brother, Ben Savage, was the boy in Boy Meets World. He played Corey in Boy Meets World. I don't know why I know that, but I do.
I don't know that either. No, apparently, he's directed a bunch. He directed...
I thought you were going to say, like, John Favreau or something like that. I was like, whoa, really?
Steven Spielberg. He directed 5 in season 3. He directed 1, 2, 3, 6... 7 in season 4. He directed a whole bunch, and obviously it's written by the guys. Danny DeVito was hesitant about the snowblower scene due to the possible danger. Charlie Day actually suffered bruised ribs from filming the scene.
Well,
that's upsetting.
I found out the other day, and I was just checking it just then. The director for Charlie Work also directed some Mad Men episodes and some Game of Thrones episodes.
Which Mad Men episodes?
I don't know. His name is. I was just googling it because I found it out. Matt Shankman.
Matt Shankman.
SHKMAN.
SHAC.
No K.
Oh, got it.
And Fargo.
Oh, what a show! You a Fargo TV fan?
Never seen it.
Ever?
I've never seen Mad Men either.
Well, I know. I've come to terms with that. He only directed
I will watch
one.
It eventually.
Mystery Days. Donovan's and some Jamet's Decision. Oh, that's a great episode. They're all great. It's got the dinner party with. Oh, it's got the dinner scene with Joan.
Don't ruin it for me.
I'm not ruining it. It's a dinner scene. If you could have, what is the for you? I mean, did you put my mum notwithstanding? What is the moment for you of this episode? For me, I don't think you can be a naked, sweaty Frank.
Yeah, naked Frank coming out of the sofa.
Bursting out that sofa.
Did you fuck my mum? Obviously. The scene where there's Carol singing the guy, and then all the neighbours start like throwing stuff at them.
It just descends into pure.
Yeah, and just the fact that Dee's wearing the gross bloodied shirt that they bought for him to try and get him back on track, which was very funny. So yeah, I do think that the Mac and Charlie plotline is more memorable with the exception of the sofa scene.
Yeah, because it's sort of, I mean, it's an intentional anticlimax, but it sort of comes to nothing because they have to tell him early on that Eugene isn't dead. And so the Christmas Carol thing gets sort of tossed aside pretty quickly. I mean, you do have the great thing of leaving Eugene in the graveyard after he asks for a lift.
Yeah, which is really funny.
I think you're underestimating Dee and Dennis in this episode.
No, it's just personally for me, I just prefer the other plotline. So the Dee and Dennis plotline is just slightly less memorable for me.
Yeah, true.
Like when I was rewatching it, I was like, oh my god, I forgot that happened. Whereas I knew the Charlie and Mac one like off by heart.
Yeah, true. Well, that sort of brings us to an end. And it brings your first year at Carruthers, Leggetter and Whoever to an end also. We've got you, our viewers don't need to wait long at all, for they will very quickly be seeing you to talk about your favourite film in February, Sliding Doors.
Yeah, can't wait.
It's already been done. It's already been recorded back in the lockdown.
Can't wait to watch it again.
Yes. It's just an excuse to watch Sliding Doors again, isn't it? Well, Katrina, it's been an absolute pleasure. And I will now disappear from here and join Will and previous guest Nathan Sloane, who I believe you fought in the quiz. Oh, the quiz hasn't been on yet. The quiz hasn't been on yet. The quiz. They don't know about the quiz.
I don't know but we did do the Muppets Christmas Carol episode together.
You did, which was a rave success, millions of views.
And a future episode, Django.
Yeah, Django Unchained. That's also coming up. We've got Tarantino in March. All very exciting. It's all happening at Carruthers, Leggetter and Whoever. This is it, Will. This is it for our little Christmas special Bonanzas. And this is it for the year with Carruthers, Leggetter and Whoever. This will be coming out on the 29th of December. And that's that. Then we are kaput for the year. Plenty more to come in the new year.
Yes.
With I'm a dirty liar, Will. We have an episode coming out on the 31st of December.
How dare you?
We have There's Something About Mary. But a wonderful film. Plenty exciting in the new year. Our first of the new year will be the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And we will then, to celebrate my birthday on the 14th of January, well, my birthday's on the 13th, but
slowly reminding me.
What better way to celebrate my birthday than the abhorrent show, Peep Show? We are kicking off our Peep Show rundowns. Not abhorrent, that's a little bit strong.
All right, no. Fantastic is the word you're looking for.
Ooh, maybe. And then we're taking our first dip into the Scorsese pool. Very exciting. Yeah. Very exciting. Lots to come for. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, Will. We've just been talking about a Top Gear Middle East Christmas.
We have.
And then you left, and I talked with, and then I travelled down to London to my other place, and then I recorded with Katrina. about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. A show that what's your relationship with It's Always Sunny before we move on to our final?
I think I watched 2 episodes, like the first series, and then I just forgot about it. It's something I really just need to get myself sit down and go, right, you're going to watch it, because it's something I would adore, and I've seen obviously the Nightline Cometh episode.
Excellent, glorious.
I've seen. What's the first episode called? Is it Racist?
The gang is racist, or something to that effect. Yes,
that's it. Yeah, it's a great opener. Yeah, no, it's something I definitely end up watching. Just haven't got around to it yet.
Yes, it's excellent. I have nothing but the best to say about it. There's no link that I can possibly segue into today, into our final thing. This is a Christmas special that came out in 2015 on Netflix. It's A Very Murray Christmas. This is Bill Murray's reunion with Sofia Coppola before they reunioned again this year with On the Rocks, which I'm yet to watch.
They did that may do it.
Okay.
They did the Japanese one together.
They did Lost in Translation.
That's it. Which I watched yesterday.
Oh, what did you think?
It's fine.
It is fine, isn't it? It's not excellent. It's definitely not.
Yeah.
He's excellent. He is wonderful. And it is like a warm blanket. But
again, that's sort of the direction the movie's is gone for. It's that sort of
aimless,
atmospheric, many different. That's the thing I'm famous for saying about Lost in Translation is that nothing happens.
That is true. Nothing, and I do, because I often pick up people when they say nothing happens in movies. For instance, my mum's review was that nothing happened in Marriage Story, which just is completely wrong. Lots of things happen in Marriage Story, and in many ways, lots of things happen in Lost in Translation. However, I can concede that nothing happens in Lost in Translation. Is this your first time with this? With a very, very...
This is my first Very Merry Christmas, yeah.
I remember avidly waiting and watching this in 2015 and just loving it. And I've watched it every Christmas since. I adore it. I feel, apparently, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Nobody really talks about it. I showed my ex once and she said, no, this stops now.
See, I'd never heard of it, but then when I went to watch it on Netflix, I instantly recognised that artwork.
Yeah, because it does pop up every year, and it's just subtle. But I just adore it. I think it's wonderful. I think it's very well paced and zippy. I think it's funny. I think it's got everything that you want in a Christmas. Well, it's in effect a what do you call it? A homage to those old-fashioned classic variety specials
with Michael Bublé in his Christmas lodge
that he's trying to bring back. Yeah, those sort of Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis, Sinatra Christmas specials where they pretend to be in a house.
Who's this? It's so cold outside.
Get inside.
Let's have a chat.
and
which
they're all
do
filmed in March.
On Glee.
Yes, they do. They do. And they're all wonderfully filmed in like April, and it's very sunny, but they've put some fake snow. And so this sort of plays on that. Because it's supposed to be, he's doing a Christmas special, but the snow has halted it. And then eventually we do get him hitting his head and having a lovely dream sequence where we get the best possible Christmas special that one could imagine with Sir George Clooney. However, before that point, we have a delightful, romp, basically. So what did you think?
I thought it was very, very nice.
It is, isn't it? It's lovely.
It was, yeah. It's just it's nothing special, but it's just easy watching, and it's nice. I love Bill Murray, and it's nice. That's all I can describe it as. Yeah.
No, it is. It's just lovely. It just gives us chance. Much like Lost in Translation, it gives us time to just be with Murray, doing what he does best, with, jokes here and there, and just that effortless charm and that odd philosophy, and he's just wonderful. He's just marvelous. In the new year, we'll be talking about a few Murray movies, including, but not limited to. Well, we're doing all the Wes Andersons, so there's a wealth of them. There's a wealth of them there.
We've not done Groundhog Day yet, have we?
Groundhog Day.
We've not recorded that. Yeah.
Groundhog Day happens after the Wes Andersons. It's Wes Anderson, and then it's Groundhog Day.
Very chronological.
It is. It's a bit of a Murray-a-thon. And before that, Wedding Crashers. Bill Murray's best film. It's just so warm. If I was to pick a word to describe it, it would be warm.
Wholesome.
Wholesome,
would be my word.
Delightful.
And I think that's better.
Will, we talked earlier in this Christmas, in our first Christmas Bonanza, all about Scrooged.
Yes.
My second favourite Christmas movie. It's in the top 10, but it's not in your top. Was it in your top 5? I can't remember. Was it at 5?
I don't know if it's in my top 10, but I need to come up with an official Christmas list. We were doing this in the car the other day. I know my approximate top 5, but I couldn't order them off the top of my head. I need to do some numbers.
You need to sort your shit out, basically, is what you're saying. This has multiple Scrooged links. It's written or co-written. It's co-written by Sofia Coppola and Bill Murray, but it's also written by Mitch Glazer, who had a hand in Scrooged with Michael O'Donoghue, and obviously it's Bill Murray. And we have a reappearance of David Johansen.
Yes.
Delightful as...
he does a lot.
He does do a lot. He's in Scrooged as the Ghost of Christmas Past. Niagara Falls. It's a boat, you dumb dog. And which floor? But he's also a renowned pop singer in his own right, with the hits "Feeling Hot, Hot, Hot," dun 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 dun, and he's in this as the bartender. Let's break it down. We start with Bill Murray and the always delightful Paul Schaefer. Singing the Christmas blues. A lovely little bluesy number with the I love Paul Schaefer musical directed this, and I love the sound of everything. Obviously nobody's the best singer apart from Maya Rudolph and Jenny Lewis and Rashida Jones. They're all pretty good, and obviously the band Phoenix, which are a real band. But
sounds like a knowing me, knowing you band.
And Phoenix. That is, yes.
It's
Debonair. Bangkok. The best one. So the Christmas blues. I love the sound of it. That sort of bluesy piano. It's all recorded live, clearly. They're all singing, sometimes out of tune and sometimes, but it just adds a realism to it that really works for the first 40 minutes. And then we have that marvelous full rendition, full out there musical stuff in the latter half, which works just as well. With the Christmas blues, then we meet our agents, Amy Poehler and Julie White. Do you like Amy Poehler, Will? Are you a Parks and Recreation fan? Are you a
I don't think I've come across
Parks and Recreation.
This is my first.
That's one of my big comedy tick lists I need to get around to. She is obviously also marvelous as the mother in Mean Girls. Johnny Carnams. She's very funny there. And they're delightful as the talent agents, and they sing "Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow" as we stumble down the stairs. And at the bottom, we meet Michael Cera,
Yes.
who is playing a sort of rock and roll agent. He's a bit like the British guy in A Star Is Born, who basically comes to Bradley Cooper and says, "Might as well kill yourself." Have you watched that Star Is Born yet, Will?
No, and I won't.
Why not? It's excellent.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really, really good. You're just fucking ugly. You're just fucking ugly.
I actually think it doesn't look very good.
Well, then don't watch it.
But you've told me to watch it because it's very good.
It is
very
very good.
conflicted.
It should have... I think it's insane. Well, especially now that we know who won with Green Book. But
Yeah.
I think it's insane that it shot its load too early, to be crude. You know, it came in and everyone was like, "Oh, this is going to be the Oscar sweep." And then
Green Book, that no one had ever heard of, but for some reason everyone was like, "Yeah, Green Book, that's got to win."
well, no, everybody had heard of it. They were just passed it off because they were like, "Oh, Green Book got nominated? Oh, right." I honestly was flabbergasted that Green Book won. I won't say I was more surprised than Moonlight, you won Best Picture. But I was just as flummoxed. I was genuinely aghast. You know, because people then related it to Spotlight, but Spotlight's excellent. Spotlight's a film
is terrific.
that we both adore openly. In the new year, there will be an article about Spotlight because I love it so damn much, and it's going to be called Spotlight, a very underrated Best Picture. Because I think, I can't remember what Spotlight was up against, but Star Is Born, it was also up against The Favourite, which was great. But Star Is Born was pretty. Everybody loves Star Is Born. I would have been very happy with Bradley Cooper taking Best Director. It's very well directed.
I bet he would have been happy too.
Yeah. I would love it if he came up and had some joke, had some humour about him, and had a fake piss bag and did the piss himself. Well, you haven't seen it, but he pisses himself. Michael Cera. Then we go into our main bar, which is where we will spend most of our... Oh, no, I'm a dirty liar. We have a failed attempt first with the wonderful Chris Rock.
Which it is one of my favourite parts.
Yes.
The desperation of seeing Chris Rock through the window. And then
Chris Rock.
bringing him in.
And
then Chris Rock singing and looking very uncomfortable.
Said the night wind to the little boy. The great line, "You're a rapper." I go, "I'm not, Bill." What? Just really funny. I don't know how much was improvised. I don't know how much was written. But everybody's...
Well, you can hope that some of it was improvised.
I can hope. And I do every night. I pray at night. We then find ourselves in the bar where we will spend most of our evening. And we kick off with a delightful rendition of Baby It's Cold Outside, with Murray doing, with some very nice singing from Jenny Lewis, and some just delightful jokes and japes from Murray's, You know, if you caught pneumonia and died, just lovely stuff. Where do you, what's of the, we're going to go through the rest of them. But what would you say is your favourite musical performance in this special?
And the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's a certain number where George Clooney is behind a tree.
That would be the correct answer, Will. Santa Claus wants some loving, because he can't sing. Famously, George Clooney, despite being Rosemary Clooney's grandson, I think.
Yes, he is. He is a male.
Grandson or nephew. Rosemary Clooney, absolutely, marvelous singer, one of the loveliest of all time. And he's just tone deaf, apparently. So, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, that's all dubbed. You know, anytime he sings, it's all dubbed, because apparently he just can't sing. And he's so bad, apparently, that they didn't even want him singing here, which is insane, because you have some, dare I say, bad... right. When you were still going to write articles for the show, for the blog, you proposed one about whether you should let actors sing.
I'm still going to write that.
Good. I look forward to reading it, and I'm sure our readers do too.
Yeah.
What's your stance on this sort of stuff?
What do you mean, this sort of stuff?
Well, this sort of, I don't know. Are we calling it bad singing?
Oh, you mean if someone can't sing, do you let them sing live?
And they do the sort of, like we do here, like Fairy Tale in New York, I guess, is the biggest example.
Yeah.
And just off the beat and a bit bluesy, a bit...
It depends what tone you want to go for, doesn't it? Because there are noticeably bits that are pre-recorded, especially in that final sort of White Christmassy dream sequence scene.
Yeah, which fits that style.
Yeah. But I think that, yeah, it generally, I don't know. I'll have to write an article to make up my own decision. But,
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think it does depend on what you're trying to go for.
We love Dimitri doing the 12 Days of Christmas on the first day of Christmas. David Johansen singing "Oh Tannenbaum." Is David Johansen actually German, or is he doing a bizarre German accent?
I don't know.
American singer-songwriter. No, he was born in Staten Island, New York.
Because when he first started doing that, I'm like, oh, okay, he's playing a German. But then for the rest of it, he's just American. So I'm like, oh.
Yeah. He's still alive.
Okay.
Acting. Did he do any other acting? I thought he was just in... Yeah, just some little stuff. You know... Yeah, nothing... Johansen's legs appeared in John Lennon and Yoko Ono's 1971 film, Up Your Legs Forever. What?
I didn't know that existed.
The film depicts panning shots of 367 human legs from foot to thigh. The film is 70 minutes in length and ends with a shot of Lennon and Yoko's buttocks.
Oh.
The soundtrack for the
John.
film consists of comments made during filming. The film's credits are read out by Lennon.
What went wrong? What went wrong?
Oh, God.
Up
Your Legs Forever, upcoming episode in the new year.
They reanimated Paul, didn't they? It was with Idris last night. They did a little...
On what?
I think it was BBC One, BBC Two, just an interview. But there was the trailer for it was them two sat on a sofa together, and it's just like, how long are we talking to? So Paul McCartney while Live and Let Die was playing, and I'm like, oh, is this a hint at any possible Bond? But
oh yeah, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a good subtle way of doing it, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, but no.
Who knows? Well, this is the thing. Right. So, in the world where we saw No Time to Die last April, do we know by now? I know. Dune would have come out yesterday.
We do.
We should have been watching Dune.
And that's the only reason I want to watch Bond is because I want to know who the next actor is.
And because it's Craig's last. There have been multiple conversations, undoubtedly. Is this the first time that we've listened that a Bond song's been released a year before the film comes out?
I think they've been cast. I think they've done. Yeah, I think it's all secured, and it's being written. They're doing. I think it's. Yeah.
We are the gold standard. Other industries are looking at us. You motherfuckers. Great cruise. Quiz question. What? Oh no, you haven't even. Have you seen A Few Good Men?
No.
I am ashamed that you're my co-host. Let's go back to A Very Merry Christmas. We get Alone on Christmas Day, which is a lovely song by Phoenix, and it's the only song from this that's on Spotify, which is very annoying.
Yeah, that does annoy you.
It is the sort of weird thing that would annoy me. Yeah, why isn't this just an album on Spotify? I'd listen to it all the time. Then we have the delightful interaction between Jason Schwartzman and, I nearly said Felissa Rashad. That would be The Cosby Show and famous actor and director Felissa Rashad. Rashida Jones is what I meant to say. And they're a couple, and they are going to get married, but then they're not getting married, and Jason Schwartzman's got cold feet, and it's all very upsetting. It's a lovely little Rushmore reunion. You haven't seen Rushmore. That's my favourite Wes Anderson, and it's one of my top 20 films ever. And that's a lovely little Bill Murray, Jason Schwartzman. And I'm going to ruin my opinion for you, Will. That's my favourite Bill Murray performance.
Oh.
Groundhog Day, very, very remarkably close second. Then Scrooged.
I think Lost in Translation is up there with one of the greatest Bill Murray performances there.
Oh, it's yeah.
Very good.
What was that Oscar race? Because that was another thing. They were like, oh, is he going to win Best Actor? It was Sofia. I just saw a film by Sofia. I know all of Billy Crystal's opening movie jokey songs. I know most of his gags. You know, he says, it took Sofia Coppola 3 weeks to film this movie. You know, it took Francis that long to wake up Brando, and he woke him up with 3 little words: key lime pie. I know all of the inflections. Anyway, we then have the wonderful Maya Rudolph performing "Christmas Baby Please Come Home." One of my favourite Christmas songs, as we found out on the New Girl episode. Obviously, it's wonderfully used in the opening of Gremlins. And Maya Rudolph is marvellous, and she is the best singing performance yet. What's your favourite song, full stop, that's from this?
I've got Fairy Tale of New York. Isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the correct answer.
It just always will be. As I've made the opinion many times, I think it's one of the greatest songs of all time, and I think that the fact that it's a Christmas song moves people away from that opinion. Same with It's Wonderful Life. I think It's Wonderful, less so with It's Wonderful Life. I think people are more open to saying that It's Wonderful Life is one of the greatest films of all time. But again, the Christmas of it all sort of moves people away. But I think it's one of the most beautiful songs ever. Maya Rudolph is the partner or wife, I don't know if they're married, of my favourite director of all time, Paul Thomas Anderson, of Boogie Nights fame, and There Will Be Blood fame, and Phantom Thread, and Magnolia, and Punch Drunk Love. And I'm very, very excited when we do Paul Thomas Anderson, Will, because I know that there's nothing there, is there?
No, I don't think so.
And that's again, it's deeply upsetting. Then we have a lovely little rendition of I Saw the Light by Todd Rundgren, which is a lovely song I've always liked. Not a Christmas song, but it fits perfectly, and it's lovely. I saw the light in you. And then Fairy Tale of New York, which is just a marvellous little closer. Or at least we think it's a closer.
No.
Diddling ding diddling ding ding diddling ding. What was your opinion? When did this win you over, Will?
I'll be honest, it was when George Clooney turned up.
I'm talking about the special.
Yeah.
Oh. So you not a fan at all of the hotel stuff?
I think it was great, but it was all a bit. It is very well paced, as you said, but it was all a bit samey.
Okay.
And it was nice to have that introduction. Yeah.
I mean, it does help that you have the greatest man alive in your. Are we excited for Midnight Sky?
I'm very excited.
Yes, I'm similarly moderately excited. The review will be up.
Sure it will.
Rapid reviewing.
Did you see him on Graham?
Oh, I would give great money to see Josh. I don't know where that's going, but no, I haven't yet. It is taped.
Nice. It's yes, David Tennant, Michael Sheen, George Clooney, Alfie Boe, Michael Ball. It's a great episode.
That's great.
Yeah.
Just
Stage Series 2's coming out, so they were vlogging that.
Yeah.
And then he was on about that. But no, it's really good.
Oh, good. And it's just them. That feels like a pretty good murderer's row.
And there's someone, the lady from this country, which is fantastic. I love this country. But she's very funny. She's very dry.
You had the ball and you dropped it.
But it's very sad because obviously Michael and Alfie have been bubbling together, haven't they?
Have they?
Yeah, they've been doing the Macintosh's Show Must Go On Les Mis run before Tier 4 came along.
Yeah.
Stop breaking the rules, people. Stop breaking the rules.
Yeah,
and then you'll stop complaining, won't you?
Got political.
As a northerner. Yeah.
As a proud northern man. He's got plenty of time to. Well, by this time we've had Christmas, and we're back to shit.
Will, here we go. Will's prediction. See how correct I am by the time this comes out.
Okay.
We'll have a New Year's national lockdown. The first few weeks in January, we will have a lockdown.
My big Tom prediction is that's not feasible in the slightest because you've got too many people moving back to university. I think February, maybe even February, March, massive lockdown.
You join Carruthers and Leggetter's cabinet.
Full of politics talk. It's
new segment.
This is like knowing me, knowing you when he has the politics, the big table, and they got the Tellis of Alice Slaphead Club. Brummy, I mean, you're a slaphead. And then we have the wonderful George Clooney. Yes, he's incredible. I like Miley Cyrus here.
She's tolerable in this.
I did not enjoy her version of Edge of 17. I know that previous guest Ava Robinson and friend, I don't want to be too crude, but got obnoxiously excited with two of her favourite things in the world combining. Miley Cyrus and Edge of 17, Stevie Nicks specifically Edge of 17, but it did nothing for me. However, here she's delightful. She has a lovely Silent Night and lovely little sleigh ride, and but then we get into Santa Claus wants some lovey. And why isn't that a meme? Why hasn't anybody gift this? I think we can end on this conversation. Why is this just come and gone? Why do people not? Does it not appeal to?
It's a very niche thing.
Niche.
That you've got to, if you want to look at stats, back into our cabinet.
Well, I love nothing more than looking at stats.
You've got to split. You've got to look at who actually watches Netflix for a start. So you've got to cut those people off. You're then going to say who watching Netflix nowadays knows who Bill Murray is, which is a very sad thing to say, but it's true.
Nobody's getting excited for a Scrooge reunion of David Johansen and Bill Murray, apart from me.
Yeah, and then you get who actually sits down to. Was it well advertised? Was it?
It was quite well advertised because they had the Miley Cyrus boom. I remember. Well, that was part of the gimmick of the advertising and the marketing, which I thought was very clever, was that they mainly showed stuff from that final 10 minutes. So then watching it the first time was a pleasant, lovely little twist on that as well.
I think the sad thing is that the majority of people nowadays don't care about Bill Murray, don't know who he is, and will probably watch him and think, he's not funny. He does strange overacting mannerism things.
If I would like, it's my birthday coming up, and I think for my birthday, my flatmates are going to let me pick. I mean, they let me pick the movie a lot, but it's usually a movie that they also like. I dread watching Caddyshack or something, and just sitting there. Well, we had it different, not Bill Murray, but Chevy. National Lampoon's Vacation, not Christmas Vacation, was on Netflix, and we watched the first hour, and just dead silence, apart from me bursting out laughing repeatedly. And I just don't get it. Well, Planes, Trains and Automobiles, another one I think we're doing in the new year. You know, arguably, you know, the second best film of the 80s, and one of the finest comedies and dramas of all time, and just plays to silence. It's so infuriating. You know, and it goes into my woman theory about Planes, Trains and Automobiles, which is a theory that has come into question a lot.
Be very careful.
No, I think it's true. Honestly, my theory about Planes, Trains and Automobiles, and this is how we will end our Christmas bonanza, is so true.
This is how we're ending Christmas.
Women, until they reach middle age, don't like Planes, Trains and Automobiles. Unless they've been forced to watch it multiple times, they don't like Planes, Trains and Automobiles. My ex didn't like it. My ex's cousin didn't like it. Every man ever loves Planes, Trains and Automobiles. Go on. My ex's cousin's partner was like, "What do you mean you don't?" He reacted as if she'd admitted an affair. He was like, "What? I never knew this. What do you mean you don't like Planes, Trains and Automobiles?" Everybody, and I literally had a sample. I shit myself. No, I had a sample. There was about 10 people, most men and women. Every goddamn man loved it. Every woman, they all think it's boring. Ava Robinson, previous guest, will also contest to this. She can't. Planes, Trains and Automobiles is fake. She loves Steve Martin. She loves John Candy. She loves John Hughes.
The tiny towel.
The tiny towel.
The best scene. I think what we've learned there is that 7 women that Tom knows don't like Planes, Trains and Automobiles.
One for every.
I think what's quite nice is that I really enjoyed that comedy. Oh, sorry, comedy. But I also really appreciate daft modern stuff as well, like Daddy's Home.
Daddy's Home. I think Daddy's Home is an exclusion to the rule. Daddy's Home is a fine film. Thomas Hayden Church as Will Ferrell's boss is one of the best comedic supporting characters in recent memory.
But he just keeps giving him strange advice. It's great.
Well,
yeah.
What better way is there to end Christmas than me cutting off a podcast very quickly because I think I have serious runs. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Well, Merry Christmas. God bless you. And thank you, everybody who's listened this year.
Thanks for putting up with us.
Indeed. And, yep, they're definitely coming. Merry Christmas, everybody, and a Happy New Year.